Today on Sport Diplomat, we visit with Steven Miro. Steven is a professional basketball player that's played all over the world. He and I first met years ago when I began representing him. And since then, he's become so much more than a client. He's a friend. He's a business partner. We've done ventures big and small together. He's got terrific ideas and very unique perspective. Here's Steven. Steven Miro, thanks for joining us on Sport Diplomat.
Thank you.
Of course. What is it about Puerto Rico and basketball? It's such a small place. It's a small island, and it produces such great talent. Why is that?
Man, I think that Puerto Rico is a small island, but the main sports there is basketball and baseball. We don't have no football. We don't have other sports. So I think most of the population, the community, they just focus on basketball, baseball. So and I think we play with so much passion, so much like heart. So I think that since we growing up, we start seeing that, and I think that's why it's a small island, but you could see a lot of good players coming out of there.
Yeah, who are some of the greats? So we've got obviously Carlos Arroyo, JJ Barea. But a lot of people, I mean, those are just two off the top. You can tell me some more. A lot of people that play in the NBA and overseas. But a lot of people, including yourself, don't know. A lot of people don't know that the history on the island in basketball goes back so much further to the 40s and the 50s and then the ABA days. And so you growing up in Puerto Rico and then coming over here, we could talk about that later. But who are some of the greats that Puerto Rican young basketball players look up to?
I mean, growing up, there was a guy called Larry Ayuso. There was Eddie Casiano, Jose Piculín Ortiz, Jerome Mincy. Those are guys that play some NBA, some play overseas a lot of years. And even the coaches, we have, I don't know if you know, we have the coach Phil Jackson, that coach Kobe and Jordan. He started his career in Puerto Rico. So the island always been like a basketball island. So growing up, it was easy to fall in love with the game. And like I say, it's a lot of great basketball players from there.
You've played really in the top countries of the world. You've played in the Dominican Republic. You've played in Puerto Rico. You've played in China. You've played in Spain. I'm sure I'm missing a little bit about your career, but tell us about the life of an international basketball player. It's very different than someone who plays domestically, I would imagine.
Yeah, man. A lot of people don't understand, but you need talent for sure, but you need discipline, because when you're overseas, it's a grind. It's not easy. You're away from home. You're traveling. Sometimes you travel 2 planes, bus rides, car ride for 2-3 hours just to play one game, and you have to perform. If you don't perform, they send you home. So it's a great experience. It's amazing. You get to see different countries, different cultures, and you're doing what you love. You're playing basketball, but at the same time, you have to keep being disciplined, because it could be a really long career, it could be a short career.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I always consider international basketball like the Wild Wild West, where there's so many levels of talent and different types of leagues and teams. At the low level, things can happen that you don't expect, and teams can go defunct, or by the end of the season, you're stuck in a country and you're trying to figure out what's going on next. Are we playing? Are we not playing? And then at the top level, it's so elite. It rivals the NBA in a lot of ways. So I can imagine you have a lot of crazy stories. I'll tell a quick story about you that I've always respected. When you and I first met, one of the earliest opportunities that we had together was the chance for you to, I guess you could call it a tryout or play for the Magic during their summer league, their NBA summer league. And I call you and I say, Steven, look, we got this opportunity, but it's tomorrow. And We got to get there. We got to find transportation. It's at 9 a.m. And you did it. You got a car. You drove all night. You worked out with the Magic and got great feedback.
Yeah.
That's that's the grind of an international basketball player. We're always looking for the next opportunity.
Definitely, man. That's something that, like I say, you can't wait to get ready. You have to be ready. You always have to be ready, stay in shape, because you never know when the next call is. So even when you are home, while all these players that play domestically, they just off season. Like international players, they don't have off season. Because you gotta stay in shape, because you never know. Like you say, it's tomorrow. I mean, one crazy story I could tell you again. Another time, I had to go fly to Colombia, and I think my passport have only 10 days left. I was like, damn, if I go to Colombia and I stay there over 10 days, I can leave. So I make every move possible to go to the embassy and everything to try to get my passport the same day so I could go fly to Colombia and play. Those are little things that people don't know. They just go, they just see you perform, and that's it. But they don't see everything that you have to do behind the scene, to be able to perform at a good level.
The Puerto Rican national team has a lot of pride and has had a lot of success over the years. You've played for the national team, and I know that they had a great victory over the U.S. By now that was 15 years ago or so, but that really catapulted the national team onto, top of mind with basketball fans across the world who may have not been familiar with Puerto Rico. I think since then, the talent has been increasing. Tell us a little bit about playing for Puerto Rico and about international basketball, but with the national team as opposed to a club team.
Yeah, the national team, I did play for them, a lot of years. And I actually won to the World Cup in New Zealand, and we got 6th place, which is pretty big. Because, a small country, you're supposed to be one of the lowest teams. We got USA, France, Lithuania, Australia, those are big countries. Like us being a small country of only 3 million people, you don't expect it to be top 5, top 10. So, it's the Puerto Rico that when we beat USA in 2004, that's when Carlos Arroyo was there. Some of the guys that I mentioned to you earlier was in that team. Larry Ayuso, Eddie Casiano, Piculín Ortiz. So I think that moment was really it's like a stone. Puerto Rico is just more than like a little island. They got some hoopers there. So I think that. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to jump in and say that you're absolutely right. It's that dynamic I was mentioning earlier about it's a disproportionate relationship because the size of the island is so small, but the influence is so big. And I think that's the case not only with basketball, but also with music. You see the same thing with reggaeton and this new Latinx music that's coming out of the Caribbean. All the top singers come from this small place, Puerto Rico. So there's something special down there that you're kicking out great artists, great athletes, great basketball players, great singers. And I think the worlds blend easily as well, music and sports. And I know you hoop a lot with some of the singers, just knowing them from back home. Maybe you could say something about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the same. I think it's the same. Like I say, when it comes to sports, basketball, baseball are the sports. And when it comes to entertainment, I think music is Puerto Rico first. Everybody want to be a singer. So I think, like you say, a lot of great singers from them. Reggaeton, salsa, merengue, you could name it. We have in every field. And basketball. For me, basketball and music is entertainment. So they go hand to hand. And I have it's been amazing. I play with guys like Bad Bunny, Ozuna, Nicky Jam, Eladio Carrion, Lenny Tavares, Anonymous. A lot of the guys are right now top. Matter of fact, yesterday I went to Bad Bunny concert. It was amazing. It was a great experience.
Awesome. That's great. I like to see you guys stick together.
Yeah.
So when we started Sport Diplomat, the idea of the show was to bring on guests that traverse their industry in a way much that a diplomat would, where one opportunity can lead to another, and you never know where sport or music or whatever field they're in it is going to take you next. So when I think of you, I think of that to a T, because basketball has opened so many doors for you that you've been able to experience so many things that at least I'm familiar with. I'm sure you've got a million other stories that I don't know about, but I very much think you encompass that theme, and I think you've done great with your career, and I wish you all the best moving forward.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, and you're completely right. Like, I think basketball opened a lot of doors for me. Like I say, like when I moved from Puerto Rico, I went to college. If it wasn't for basketball, probably, I would never go to make a college. I had 2 degrees, a master's degree for free, paid for, then get to play basketball overseas in a lot of countries. And now we get to meet all these singers because they all want to play basketball. They all want to be around. So, I think basketball, it keeps opening doors. You'll be in the court, you'll be outside the court, you'll be in the entertainment business, you'll be with kids, teaching them, I think basketball is, it's being part of my life, and I think it will keep being part of my life, even outside being a basketball player, So, yeah.
Thank you, Steven.
All right, man. Thank you for having me.